Madlala in Joburg after that briefing by the Joburg mayor and the city manager about that explosion. Lubile, good afternoon to you. What's come from this briefing? Do we now have final clarity on what caused this massive explosion?
Yes, we are currently hearing that the methane gas is actually what caused this explosion, but we are understanding that more investigations are still ongoing. In fact, they're saying that at this very moment that they can estimate to about 178 million rands that will be used to ensure that they fix the inner city. And the city mayor has also explained that they are going to make sure that they take the time that is needed to ensure that they fix the inner city. But we do know that this is not the final outcome that they're saying that is going to be the 178 million rand. I want to bring in Johan now because, Johan, you were explaining to us in terms of technicality what really happened. And I mean, in the beginning of this explosion, everybody wanted to know what was the reason that it exploded, but also there was also a narrative around the fact that this could be because of the zamazamas. So before we get to the zamazamas, I'd like to understand, where does this methane gas come from?
The methane gas have different sources. It can come from the sewer system that are somewhere connected lower down, because this tunnel ran from a low point to the high point. The explosion occurred at a high point. It could also come from a small pinhole leakage from the gas supplier in the region, or it could come from the earth below.
And I mean, is this something new? Has this ever happened elsewhere? And how is it that our country is faced with this? Is it possible that it could be old infrastructure?
It's not specifically the old infrastructure, but the tunnel system was not designed for this, because it was built from the 1935s to around about 1960, and it didn't have ventilation and to actually let the methane out when it's built in. And unfortunately, the manholes are all welded up because of the theft problem we have with cables. And therefore, it can't sort of get out.
And now that we know that it has occurred, of course, and there are solutions to it, but tell us, the notion that this could be zamazamas that were under there that could have maybe caused the explosion, why are you cutting it out now?
In the tunnel itself, the question was in the tunnel, so we investigated the tunnel with drones that we flew in the tunnel, and we have people with gas measurements investigating and walk the tunnels to declare it's safe. We have been in a large portion of the tunnels, and there's no evidence of anybody moving there, living there, eating there. Wherever the zamazamas is, there's evidence of food and batteries and the tools and the things they're working. There was also not recent cable theft, so it's well protected, and there are daily guards protecting the tunnels. What happened below is that we wouldn't know, but this area of the city is not known for undermining. Lower down in the city, there are undermining where they may be possible be visible. So that is the reason. In the tunnel itself, we didn't find any traces of people.
And you speak about the LPG gas as compared to the methane gas. Tell us a bit about the difference. How could we know that it is, in fact, the methane gas for sure that caused this explosion?
That is the analytics we do. The LPG gas would need a higher quantity, but because it is heavier than air, it actually will go to the bottom and move down the tunnel to the lower end of the tunnel. Where methane is lighter than air, and it moved to the top of the tunnel, and that is exactly where the explosion occurred, at the highest end of the tunnel, where there was a water slot as well to make sure that it can't be released. And that is the evidence for that. And then the nature of the explosion that we simulated is also in line with what happened with methane and the research that's done around that globally.
And we're hearing that this obviously is going to be, maybe it might add to more than 178 million rand. Tell us a bit about what goes into this investigation and what will be used in order to ensure that you're fixing the city, and why it would be so expensive.
The amount mentioned is just to fix where this accident happened, and the cost is actually to replace the tunnel. A large portion is the cables that are fairly expensive that need to be replaced, that are also tens of millions. And then it is also the other services. So it is an estimation of the services in that area that need to be replaced from what we have seen. We have applied CCTV cameras in the pipes, look at the condition, and look at the physical condition and what was damaged. So it's just the estimate of current market conditions to do it. It is difficult because it's in a city center where you normally have a truck that can do 20 loads a day. They will do 2 or 3 because of the traffic. So the productivity is taken into account when you do an estimate to do work in city center. And that's what the contractors do, else they will go bankrupt.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Johan. And of course, he has been explaining, Stevens, in terms of where to from here in terms of the city. And like he explains, there's a lot that still is going to take place within the city. But for sure now they know that it is a methane gas that caused this. And this is based on the fact that they're saying that it's a lot thinner. And so it would cause such explosion. But a lot more investigations are still ongoing. And they are going to look into how much this will cost and how long it will take before the people in the city are able to use that road again.
Wila Madlala, thank you very much indeed for that live update. Of course, from the city of Joburg earlier, you saw the Mayor, Kabelo Gwamanda, on that. But now it seems certainty on what actually caused that explosion.